For the lesson today, we are going to look at 3 examples. This first example is a question from your textbook on page 292. It was number 7. It says solve 12 minus 3/5 x greater than 39. So the first thing, just like in equations, we're going to get rid of that constant by subtracting 12. 12 minus 12 is 0, so I'm left with negative 3/5 x. The sign has to stay with that negative 3/5 because remember, subtracting is like adding a negative, so it's still negative. It is greater than 27. Since I'm multiplying x by a fraction, to get 1x, I can multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 5/3. Because this is gone, so now I have x. I multiplied by a negative, so my inequality switched. And then I have to do 27 times negative 5/3. I know my answer is going to be negative. So over here, I'm going to do 27 over 1 times 5/3. And on my diagonal here, 27 and 3 both have a factor of 3. So I'm going to divide that out, to be left with 1 and 9. And 9 times 5 is 45. So x is less than negative 45 would be the solution to that inequality. Next, solve the inequality. Negative 3 times x plus 4 plus 3 is greater than or equal to 9. Then graph the solution. So notice here is, we're going to use the distributive property to simplify it, but there's this plus 3 just hanging out. So since it's not being multiplied by anything, I'm just going to subtract it from the beginning from both sides. So negative 3 times x plus 4 is greater than or equal to 6. Now I'm going to apply the distributive property. So, and I'm actually going to rewrite this over here. So negative 3 times x plus 4 is greater than or equal to 6. So distribute negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12, which is greater than or equal to 6. Okay, so then we're going to add 12 to both sides. So we have negative 3x is greater than or equal to 18. Divide both sides by negative 3. So x, flip the inequality, is less than or equal to negative 6. So a graph of the solution would look like this. It's a filled in point because it's or equal to, and it's pointing left because left is the same as less than. They both start with L is how I remember it. Oh, and that was example 2 on page 297 of your textbook. So this is example 3 on page 297. Solve the inequality. 2 parentheses, 3.5t minus 2, close parentheses, plus 6t is greater than or equal to negative 2. Now, that might look really complicated, but you all totally have the skills to be able to solve this, as long as you just take it step by step and remember the rules in our solving equations. So let's start this one with the distributive property. So that becomes 7t minus 4 plus 6t is greater than or equal to negative 2. Now we have to combine like terms. We need to combine that 7t and 6t. So that's 13t minus 4 is greater than or equal to negative 2. And now let's add 4 to both sides. So 13t is greater than or equal to 2. Divide by 13. T is greater than or equal to 2/13. So then in graphing the solution, I kind of wrote my answer there. Here, let me do this. So t is greater than or equal to 2/13. So see, my number line is between 0 and 1, and it's divided into 13ths. So there is a closed circle right now on 2/13ths, and t is greater than or equal to it. So greater than points to the right, and then remember, or equal to is closed. So now, using this short lesson and your prior knowledge from our equations and inequalities unit, and of course your textbook or other resources, go ahead and try those 5 practice problems. You're going to check your solutions either using the key that I post or the solution video.